Hello and welcome back to our Retire Early lifestyle. In 2026, the dream of retiring abroad for pennies on the dollar is hitting a wall of reality. Don't you just love our reality shows? In this video, we're breaking down the real reasons expats are packing their bags and leaving these 5 very popular expat havens. And hang in there because it's not just about costs going up. Starting right off the bat with America's favorite little darling, the safety tax and price parity of Mexico. For 15 years, we've been telling our viewers the reality of how it really is when you move and live in a foreign country. And well, Mexico has given off a sour taste in our mouth. It's not the lovely, quaint, inexpensive expat paradise it once was. Rising housing costs are shattering the affordability dream. If there is one issue that keeps coming up in expat forums and Facebook groups, it's the cost of housing. The average apartment rental price in Mexico City is projected to rise approximately $1,134 per month. That's a lot for Mexico. Another report says that many expats are leaving Mexico due to skyrocketing housing costs and a shift in the perception of safety. Mexico City is projected to rise significantly, making it less affordable for many residents, including expats. So what do we have to do to stay safe in Mexico now? Well, the smart expats have to pay what's called a safety tax just to maintain a basic standard of security. You really don't want to live in a house that can get broken into when you're not home, like in Costa Rica. So what are your options? Well, you can go for the expat gated communities with private guards and advanced surveillance, which offers more safety than a standalone house, or you can go for the 24/7 high-rise condos, which we find safer than an expat enclave. And so then now you're paying for your personal safety, which kills the low cost of living advantage of Mexico if you can find it, as you will be spending a safety tax on physical protection rather than enjoying a lifestyle. In addition, you're still not safe in Mexico even when you do those things, because at some point you will have to leave your apartment. You've told us in the comments that the cartel in Mexico are everywhere now. I'm a Mexican, lived in the United States for 30 years, and yes, I am a legend American. Moved back to Mexico for my retirement. Now, after 15 years, I'm moving back to the United States. And why? Mexico has gotten very, very expensive now, and the cartel is everywhere. I can live in most of the United States cheaper than Mexico. Yeah, there are some places to live in Mexico that are cheap, but I wouldn't live in them. I know better. I think people are just trying to sell you something when they tell you it's so cheap in Mexico. So, folks, it's no longer just a rumor. It's a daily reality that's driving even long-term residents back to the U.S. Midwest, where prices are actually starting to look competitive compared to gringo-priced Mexican hubs. Number 2, Canada and France. The reality about both of these overpriced, overrated Western havens is enormous. And it's funny, because the vested interests actually like to say that Canada is the number 1 place where Americans are moving to now. First, let's talk about Canada. Canada has made it almost impossible for Americans to move there, and that's why we totally disagree that it's the number 1 country. Not only that, but Canada has become so expensive that only the wealthy can move there now. Canada's high cost of living and property prices have made it a no-go zone for people on a fixed retirement or smaller $50,000 to $60,000 income. And while we're at it, expats are actually leaving Canada, and here's why. I won't read all these, just these 2, which I find very, very interesting. Look, if expats are leaving our next door neighbor country where everyone speaks English and where they have excellent infrastructure and it looks and sounds and smells similar to the U.S., then this should be very telling for us all. Number 1, economic challenges. Many Americans find that maintaining their quality of life has become increasingly difficult, leading them to reconsider their residency. Also, number 5, because they want to return to the familiarity of the U.S. For many, returning to the U.S. represents a move back to their roots where they are closer to family and familiar support systems. This emotional angle is often overlooked but plays a significant role in the decision-making process. So there you go, folks. They're leaving Canada because it's not what they were told. They want to be back into the U.S. where it's familiar surroundings. And what about France? Number 3. Well, look, between the social unrest over there, the crime spikes, and inflation, the sweet life has gone bye-bye rather quickly, don't you think? I mean, you can probably go off the beaten path and find a nice, quaint French village that's less expensive somewhere, but people usually want to be where the action is. Expats are actually leaving France, and they're leaving in large numbers. 74% of Americans who move to the south of France leave within 2 years. Most people don't leave because the Riviera is expensive. They leave because day-to-day life is not built for the fantasy version they moved into. Do you understand that? That means they moved to the south of France on a fantasy that they were sold. Did you know that France is one of the countries that are becoming increasingly more anti-American? Each year, more French decide they don't like us. According to some reports, the French say we Americans are loud, insincere, and we think that we're entitled. But we're not saying this. We're just reporting what we're seeing. We don't believe a whole population of people is like this, but according to Pew Research, the blue bar right here means unfavorable for the Americans, and the green bar means favorable. Well, bye-bye France, go figure. We're sure that Americans probably have something to say about the French, too. We've always said, though, on this channel, instead of bad-mouthing other countries, why not just vote with your feet and quit going there? Quit going to these overrated Western havens. Number 4, Southeast Asia, the high-value pivot of Thailand and Malaysia. In 2025, Thailand had a huge drop in tourism traffic because they hit expats with erroneous taxes, high bank deposit fees, and higher thresholds for visas. Tourism is absolutely declining, and other Thailand expats have reported that they're leaving, and the 7 main reasons why are right here: visa fatigue, over-tourism, rising cost of living, limited job opportunities, tax confusion and financial fears, feeling like a permanent outsider, and property ownership restrictions. We've talked about every single one of these probably a dozen times on this channel. And it's the reason why people are leaving. Essentially, Thailand is biting the hand that feeds them. And so now, what are they trying to do since this big drop in tourism? The biggest shift of 2026 in countries like Thailand and Malaysia is they have decided they don't want the budget expat anymore. Isn't that nice of them? We saw this coming when the Thais blatantly came out and said they are wooing wealthy expats for foreign residency in 2025. And they're actively seeking to attract highly skilled foreigners and wealthy expats through initiatives like long-term resident visas aimed at boosting the economy. This shift reflects a desire for expats who can contribute economically rather than just the retirees on a pension. Doesn't that sound nice? And who falls for this, come on? Are the wealthy so gullible that they fall for the cheap flattery and get hooked into the foreign tax system and bureaucracy? Let us tell you a little secret. Retirees on those small pensions are the ones that actually contribute to the local economy by eating at the local restaurants and renting from the local people and going to the local mercados. But when these countries invite the wealthy investor, they just spike property prices to the moon by investing in the property investment visas. It certainly fills the government coffers, but it spikes the housing market, and all the vested interests are happy as clams. We saw it happen in Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, and now Malaysia. These investors do not stick around, though. They just buy their property and leave. They have someone else take care of the property, and then they just enjoy the revenue. Most of the locals don't see any of that. In fact, that's how they become displaced from their own communities. They want expats who can contribute economically rather than just retirees on pensions. Thailand is also something of an anomaly, as they do not allow foreigners to outright buy property in their country, which is actually a good thing. But in Malaysia, by attracting only the wealthy folks, they've jacked up minimum spending and fixed deposit requirements to levels that exclude the average middle-class retiree. Well, look for yourself. You can see it right here on this graph. Malaysia is trying to do the golden visa scheme by attracting only rich folks to their country now. And this is happening in a country with an average salary of $18,000 a year. So take a look at this. The new Malaysian visa minimum requires that you have a minimum of $150,000 lying around, and then they want you to have another $130,000 to buy property. And so for $280,000, you get to have a 5-year residency visa in their country. Whoop-de-doo! What is going on with these countries? The Malaysians are telling us they don't want retirees on a pension or expats on a budget. We're sure the Malaysians are pleasant and nice people, and the country is really great with a variety of good Asian food, but to think about the implications of these governments now requesting people with more and more money to come live in their country, now foreign expats are a target for price gouging, money scams, and crime. This is what happens, folks. Wash, rinse, repeat. We've been telling you this for 15 years. Number 5. Italy, the residency nightmare. The under the Tuscan sun dream hits a wall called residency permits. It is now a long, expensive, and frustrating process to receive Italian residency. You guys keep telling us this, and we believe you. I really wish someone would deal with the residency permit issues that come with moving to Europe. It is a long, expensive process, and Americans, I am one, act like it is a snap and done. And it is so frustrating when I see people glorifying it. The truth is, the only people saying it's easy peasy are probably the ones married to an EU citizen. If you don't have that connection, moving to Southeast Europe is going to be a nightmare for you. And not only that, but expats are leaving Italy for all the reasons we already know. It's not what they thought, meaning not what they were told or sold. Remember, expats don't leave the beautiful Riviera of France because it's expensive. They leave because they realized it's not the fantasy they were sold when they moved there. Let's get real here. That's the reality. American tourism in Italy has seen a decline of about 20 to 30%. Wow, that's a huge drop. And that leads some American expats to leave the country. And this drop is attributed to concerns over crowds, rising costs, and the overall economic situation in Europe. And this report was just written 8 hours ago of me making this video. Italy tourism bookings fall as American demand weakens ahead of summer. The truth is, Italy has always been challenging to get residency. But in times past, some people were actually able to slip through the cracks. But now, those cracks have been patched up and they're gone. And now it's a bureaucratic nightmare. Just the fact that both France and Italy make it that difficult to get residency tells us that they really do not want too many Americans in their country. And they're not going to make it an easy process, and we have to face that fact. I'm just going to read you something, and we will attest that this is true and accurate about Italy, and is why you really don't want to move to Italy, and is why expats flee. Here we go. Living in Italy for a few years, what I wish I knew before moving there. Hi everyone, I'm posting this not just to get some things off my chest, but also to share my story in case it helps anyone thinking about moving here. I moved to Italy a few years ago before coming here. I was so excited. I grew up with Italian culture in my family, so I had this romantic idea of what life here would be like. But the reality, it's very different. My first big shock was when I went to the town of my ancestors to start my citizenship process. I even rented a place right across from the commune to make things easier. The officials there basically told me we can't do it, too much time has passed, which was completely false. So after calling other countries, one of them confirmed they were legally obligated to handle it. When I went back with this information, the commune literally admitted, yeah, that's true, but honestly we don't feel like doing it. It's a long process and we don't want to do it. And that was my first real welcome to Italy moment. But wait, there's more. And this is the part you really need to hear. What makes all of this worse is that people actually warned me before I came. One person who lived here for years told me they left because they simply couldn't stand it anymore. Another person, after nearly a decade in Italy, gave up and moved away because of the constant frustration. Even an Italian told me when I arrived, "You won't make friends here. You'll get frustrated very fast." I didn't believe any of them. I thought, that won't be me. We're social, respectful, open people. We've traveled a lot and have always made friends easily. No way, it'll be different for me in Italy. But now, after years here, I have to admit they were right. I've seen multiple friends leave within a year because they couldn't take it anymore. And renting a place as a foreigner is extremely difficult, even if you have a steady job. But if you have an Italian spouse, like I do, or EU member spouse, it will be much easier to move to Italy. If that's what you really want to do, good luck, because you're going to need it. We say no need to give up on Europe. Why not just go there for a 3-month vacation? There's no need to move there. After 3 months, you'll still probably be so ready to come back home to your easy American lifestyle, it won't even be funny. We know what you're thinking. This channel is so negative. Every country. I'm just going to quit watching these guys. No, we're realists, not idealists. That means we see things and experience things as they really are. That's not negative. That's just what it is. Truth. So, have you ever thought about staying put and finding a quiet, low-cost state somewhere in the U.S.? I mean, that's an option. And we've done a couple of videos showing you some pretty nice areas in Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, and Arkansas. If any of our viewers are expats in one of these 5 countries we listed today, are you planning to leave or stay in 2026? Tell us why in the comments. Enlighten us with some juicy bits of boots on the ground experiences. It's you guys that are helping move this channel along with the information people really need to know. Whether your experience was good or bad, we want to know. So until next video, stay safe and bye-bye.